Hello everyone, my name is Anup Kumar Yadav. I am an engineer by profession and currently working with CDEC Hyderabad. I am going to have a talk on open source web application framework which will include the topic such as how the MVC model works along with its architecture, the difference between a framework and a library. We will follow up a small Django application and go through each and every step of installing our own first Django project, keeping up with the Django MVT, that is Model View Template. Web Application Framework. Framework have become an essential part of a web development as the standard of web applications are always rising, so does the complexity of the technology needed. It's completely unreasonable to reinvent the wheel for such sophisticated techniques. Assuming that you can reinvent all that, that's why using framework endorsed by thousands of developers around the world is a very sensible approach for building rich and interactive web applications. A web framework or a web application framework is a software framework that is designed to support the development of web applications, including web services, web resources, and web APIs. Web framework provide a standard way to build and deploy web applications on the World Wide Web, that is WWW. Web framework aim to automate the overhead associated with the common activities performed in web development. For example, many web frameworks provide libraries for database access, templating framework, and session management, and they often promote code reuse, although they often target development of dynamic websites. They are also applicable to static websites. Web services. A web services is a piece of software that makes it that make itself available over the internet and uses a standard XML messaging system. XML is used to encode all the communication to a web services. For example, a client invoke a web service by sending an XML message and then wait for a corresponding XML response. In the web era, all the web apps were mainly built around the servers. Such such apps still exist and are highly secure since their entire app logic is stored on the backend. But as we as web standard began to change, app logic started to shift it towards the client, which helped to ensure a smarter interaction between a user and a web app. With the logic on its side, a client can instantly react to user input. What's more, client-side logic make app responsive so they are easy to navigate on any device. This is this is way we now have two groups of web application frameworks. One help to set up app logics on the server, the other on the client. To create a powerful web app, you can use both of them simultaneously. Server-side web application framework. Although frontend also involved, its first and foremost job is to display an interface, and without app logic, any UI UX is irrelevant. That's why server-side framework are important. In the web app architecture, we know that the single page web app concept where one of the main component of the architecture is a JavaScript client layer. To properly set it up, you need client-side frameworks such as Bootstrap, React.js, Angular.js, Backbone, Semantic UI. Model View Control, that is MVC. The Model View Control design pattern specify that an application consists of a data model, presentation information, and control information. The pattern requires that each of these be separated into different objects. MVC is more of an architectural pattern, but not for complete application. MVC completely relates to the UI interaction layer of an application. You are still going to need business logic layer, maybe some service layer and data access layer. So what is model? Model. The model contains only the pure application data. It contains no logic describing how to present the data to a user. View. The view presents the model's data to the user. The view knows how to access model data, but it also but it does not know what this data means or what the user can do to manipulate it. Now controller. The controller exists between the user and the model. It listens to the event triggered by the view or the external sources and execute the appropriate reaction to these events. In most of the cases, the reaction is to call a method on a model. Since the view and the model are connected through a notification mechanism, the result of the action is then automatically reflected in the view. So as you can see in the diagram, that user is connected to view and controller, and model is connected to view and controller is connected to model. So MVC framework. These are the most popular MVC framework. Django is an open source full stack Python development framework. Spring MVC is a Java framework which is used to build web applications. It implements all the basic features of a core Spring framework like inversion of control, dependency injection. Apache Struts2 is an open source web application framework for developing Java web applications. Ruby on Rails or Rails is a server-side web application framework written in Ruby. CodeIgniter is an open-source software rapid development web framework for use in building dynamic websites with PHP. CakePHP is an open-source web framework. It is written in PHP, modeled after the concept of Ruby on Rails. Zen Framework 2 is an open-source framework for developing web applications and services using PHP 5.3+. Laravel is a free, open-source PHP web framework created by Taylor Otway. Express.js, or simply Express, is a web application framework for Node.js, releases as free and open source software. ASP.NET MVC is discontinued web application framework developed by Microsoft. Angular is a TypeScript-based open-source web application framework led by the Angular team at Google and by the community of individuals and corporations. Framework versus library. A framework calls into your code. Your code calls into library. A framework owns the main function. It performs some functions like managing a collection or window on the screen. A framework can, in principle, run even if you haven't customized it at all. It does something like putting up an empty window with default widget. The framework defines the overall nature of the program, while your code provides specific customizations. These customizations may be very substantial, since both a word processor and a spreadsheet may be created using a same web framework. A library is a box of tools used by your code. Your code owns main function and provide the overall structure of program. The library does some specific tasks like sending traffic over the network, computing visuals, functions, or whatever. The key difference between a library and a framework is inversion of control. When you call a method from a library, you are in control, but with a framework, the control is inverted. The framework calls you. Python frameworks. These are the most popular Python frameworks. Django. Django makes it easier to build better web apps more like quickly and with less code. Django is a high-level Python web framework that encourages rapid development and clean parametric design. It lets you build high-performing, elegant web applications quickly. TurboGear. Create a database-driven, ready-to-extend application in a minute, all with designer-friendly template. Easy Ajax on the browser side and on the server side, with an incredibly powerful and flexible object relational mapper (ORM), and with code that is as natural as written a function. Web2Py all in one package with no further dependence. Development, deployment, debugging, testing, database administration, and maintenance of application can be done via the provided web interface but not required. Flask is a micro framework for Python. Include a built-in development server, unit testing, support, and is fully Unicode enabled with RESTful request dispatching as WSGI compliance. Pyramid, a small, fast, open source Python web framework. It makes real-world web application development and deployment more fun, more predictable, and more productive. Pyramid is a Pylons project, and it is the successor to the Pylons web framework. Portal is a fast and simple micro framework for small web applications. It offers request dispatching routes with URL, parameter support, templates, key value database, a built-in HTTP server, and adapter for many third-party WSGI, HTTP server, and template engines, all in a single file and with no dependency other than the Python standard library. Django is a high-level Python web framework that encourages rapid development and clean, pragmatic design. Built by experienced developers, it takes care of much of hassle of web development. So you can focus on writing your web app without needing to reinvent the wheel. It's free and open source. It is maintained by the Django Software Foundation (DSF), an independent organization. Django's primary goal is to ease the creation of complex, database-driven websites. Why Django? Now we have a question that why Django? So with Django, you can take web application from concept to launch in a matter of hours. Django take care of much of the hassle of web development, so you can focus on writing your app without needing to reinvent the wheel. It's free and open source. These are some features. Ridiculously fast. Django was designed to help developers take application from concept to completion as quickly as possible. Fully loaded, Django includes dozens of extra you can use to handle common web development tasks. Rigorously secure, Django takes security seriously and helps developers avoid many common security mistakes, such as SQL injections, cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, and clickjacking. Its user authentication system provides a secure way to manage user account and password. Exceedingly scalable. Some of the busiest sites on the planet uses Django's ability to quickly and flexibly scale to meet the heaviest traffic demands. Incredibly versatile. Companies, organizations, and the government have used Django to build all sort of things from content management systems to social networks to scientific computing platforms. Popularity: Django is widely accepted and used by various well-known sites. Some well-known sites that uses Django includes Instagram, Mozilla, Disqus, Pinterest, Bitbucket, the Washington Times. IDEs best suited for Django development. There are the most common and popular IDEs which is used by Django developers. Visual Studio Code. It is a source code editor developed by Microsoft for Windows, Linux, and macOS. It includes support for debugging, embedded Git control, and GitHub, syntax highlighting, intelligent code compilation, snippets, and code refactoring. PyCharm. PyCharm is an IDE integrated development environment by JetBrains. It is used for development in Python and framework like Django. You can customize it with themes and plugins. It lets you to enhance productivity while coding by providing some features like suggestion, etc. Django Virtual Environment Setup. A virtual environment is a tool that helps to keep dependencies required by different projects separate by creating isolated Python virtual environment for them. This is one of the most important tools that most of the Python developers use. Virtual environment should be used whenever you work on any Python-based project. It is generally good to have one new virtual environment for every Python-based project you work on. So the dependencies of every project are isolated from the system and each other. We use a module named virtualenv, which is a tool to create isolated Python environments. Virtualenv creates a folder which contains all the necessary executables to use the package that a Python project would need. Now, to set up a virtual environment in Ubuntu, use the following steps. Step 1. Install package. Use this command to install the package. apt-get space install space python3 -venv. This will install the package in user accessibility. Or for installing as a super user, use sudo command. Sudo space apt-get space install space python3 -venv. This process will take few minutes. Step 2. Create a directory. To create a directory, use following command. mkdir space directory name. After it, change directory to the newly created directory by using cd space directory name. Step 3. Create virtual environment. Use the following command to create a virtual environment. python3 -m space venv space virtual environment space name. Now, final step 4 is activate virtual environment. After creating a virtual environment, activate it by using the following command. Source space virtual environment space name /bin/activate. Here we Django env is a virtual environment name. Django installation. To install Django, first visit to the Django official site, that is https://www.djangoproject.com, and download Django by clicking on the download section. We are installing Django in Ubuntu operating system. Here we are installing Django using pip3. The installation command is given pip3 space install space Django. For a specific version, pip3 space install space Django equals to the version number. Verify Django installation. After installing Django, we need to verify the installation. Open the terminal and write Python 3 and press enter. It will display Python shell where we can verify Django installation. Step 1. Import Django package. Step 2. Use command print django.get_version function. Then look at the Django version displayed by the print method of the Python. Well, Django is installed successfully. Django project. In the previous slide, we have installed Django successfully. Now, we will learn step-by-step process to create a Django application. To create a Django project, we can use the following command. Django-admin start project space project name. Project name is the name of Django application. If you get an error in the above command, you can try this command. Django-admin.py space start project space project name. Locate into the project. Now move to the project by changing the directory. The directory can be changed by using the following command. cd underscore cd space directory. Here my site is the directory name which is created in previous line. To see all the files and subfolder of the Django project, we can use tree command to view the tree structure of the application. This is a utility command. If it is not present, can be downloaded via apt-get space install and space tree command. A Django project contains the following packages and files. The outer directory is just a container for the application. We can rename it further. Manage.py. It is a command line utility which allows us to interact with the project in various ways and also used to manage an application. A directory, my site, located inside, is the actual application package name. Its name is the Python package name which we will need to use to import module inside the application. init.py. It is an empty file that tells to the Python that this directory should be considered as a Python package. Settings.py. This file is used to configure application settings such as database connection, static file linking, etc. url.py. This file contains the listed URLs of the application. In this file, we can mention the URLs and corresponding action to be performed, the task, and display the view. wsgi.py. It is an entry point for WSGI compatible web servers to serve Django project. Initially, this project is a default draft which contains all the required files and folders. Running the Django project. Django project has a built-in development server which is used to run application instantly without any external web server. It means we don't need of Apache or other web server to run the application in development mode. To run the application, we can use the following command: python 3 space manage.py space run server. Look, server has started and can be accessed at localhost with port 8000. Let's access it using the browser. It looks like the image. Django admin interface. Django provides a built-in admin module which can be used to perform CRUD operations on the model. It reads metadata from the model to provide a quick interface where user can manage the content of the application. This is a built-in module and designed to perform admin-related tasks to the user. Let's see how to activate and use Django admin module interface. The admin app Django.contribute.admin is enabled by default and already added into installed_app section of the setting files. To access it at the browser, use \admin \. At a local machine like localhost colon at 8000 \admin and it shows the following out. Create an admin user. Python 3 space manage.py space create super user. If you get an error related to user table does not exist, then first do this step: python 3 space manage.py space migrate, and after creating super user, restart the server. Create an ad After creating an admin user, provide created user and password and login. After logging successfully, it shows the second image-like interface. Django app. We have seen a procedure to create a Django project. Now, in this topic, we will create app inside the created project. Django application consists of project and app. It also generates an automatic base directory for the app. So we can focus on writing code, business logic, rather than creating app directory. The difference between a project and app is a project is a collection of configuration files and app, whereas the app is a web application which is written to perform business logic. Creating an app. To create an app, we can use the following command: python 3 space manage.py space start app space app name. In this example, in place of app name, we use app my app. use tree command to see the structure of project. Initially, all the files are empty. No code is available, but we can use these to implement business logic on the basis of MVC design pattern. To run this application, we need to make some significant changes which display "Hello World" message on the browser. Open views.py file in any text editor and write the given code to it, and do the same for urls.py file too. Once again, restart the server and open any web browser and enter the URL localhost:8000 \hello. It will show the output given below. Django MVT. The MVT model view template is a software design pattern. It is a collection of three important components: model, view, and template. The model helps to handle database. It is a data access layer which handles the data. The template is a presentation layer which handles user interface part completely. The view is used to execute the business logic and interact with a model to carry data and render a template. Although Django follows MVC pattern, but maintain its own convention, so control is handled by the framework itself. There is no separate controller, and complete application is based on model, view, and template. That's why it is called MVT application. Here, a user requests for a resource to the Django. Django work as a controller and check to the available resources in URL. In URL maps, a view is called that interact with model and template. It renders a template. Django respond back to the user and send a template as a response. So that's it for the today. Thank you for watching this video and hope you guys liked it.